looks like Ukraine released new military ad video where they try to recruit new soldiers, young guys that are still not in the army and still not in the battlefield fighting Russians. They try to entice them to join the army by, guess what? By sex, love and romanticism. So here you can see a happy couple, model-looking, beautiful woman with her guy, with her husband, looks like, and they are fighting shoulder to shoulder. Well, indeed, they are not showing exactly how they are fighting, they are not showing the battles, because probably the battles itself, they would look that pretty, but they show this couple just enjoying themselves, being all beautiful, glamorous, surrounded by all of these weapons, military vehicle. All of this, I guess, is supposed to somehow show Ukrainian guys that, look, if you join the military and you will fight with us against enemies, these amazing things might be waiting for you. Beautiful women will be just waiting for you, and they will be ready to make love to you, and you will be so happy. Everything is so nice and glamorous. Like, come on, join us, and you see how nice it's gonna be. Yeah, the problem is that this ad is so far from reality. I mean, the real battlefield looks nothing like that. Just like nothing like what they've shown you in this ad. It's horrifying, it's dirty, it's scary, it's fucking dangerous. And it's not as a glamourish with top models running around ready to make love to you between the shootings and artillery strikes. That is crazy. And in reality, if you are lucky or unlucky enough to have this beautiful girlfriend fighting close to you, well, I wonder how would you feel when the next artillery strike might just hit her, and after having such an amazing time with her, hugging and kissing, you just move your head and you see just leftovers of your girlfriend. Like how romantic it is at all. Jesus Christ. All of this is very sad, if not pathetic, because, you know, the immorality of the story is that, yes, I know it's some marketologists are using these associations between the product and very nice picture, like, for example, the fast food can be tried to get associated with a happy family or happy kid, and despite, you know, like it's super unhealthy for you, but in the ads they try to promote this unhealthy product by putting these amazing happy faces. But in this case, it's not even that they try to sell you some unhealthy shit like a sugarish drink or something. They try to sell you a product which, with quite high probability, might imply your death or you being injured into the battlefield up to the point that you might lose part of your body. It's honestly, it's quite shocking, and I'm not sure on how many guys that are still free from the army and living in Ukraine, and how many guys this ad actually will make any influence. Looks like not on that many, because like recently I have seen the another of many videos how the workers of, I'm not sure if it's military or if it's kind of a police, they call it like a TCK, I'm not sure how to translate it in English, but basically people who are forcefully grabbing men, even from the streets, and trying to get them recruited. They take them into these military facilities because for a certain type of men and ages, it's like mandatory to be in the military service right now in Ukraine. And looks like a lot of guys are definitely not happy to go there, and this ad is probably making absolutely no effect. Well, no wonder, because it's absolutely pathetic. Just check one of these recent videos how happy some guys are to go and join the fight. Check it yourself. And this is honestly breaking my heart to see videos like that, because the kind of screams he's making is almost like these animals that farmers are catching and try to take them to the slaughterhouse. And somehow animal can understand that what it is all about. And it's not so far from this analogy, this real situation, because this guy probably knows how risky it is for his life and for his health, and the political reasons of this war and patriotism is not enough for him, just not a great motivation for him to go and sacrifice his life, and which is totally understandable. I cannot even imagine the feelings of his parents, who probably have seen this video. And I hope this guy is okay. I really think that no one should be forced to go and risk their life. It's not a freedom, and it's not exactly a democracy, right? I'm not sure. Like a lot of Western leaders keep on talking about we should defend the democracy in Ukraine. But then you see this kind of videos and you think, what kind of democracy and what kind of freedom are you trying to defend in Ukraine? Because right now I don't see that Ukraine as a state has more freedoms or more democracy than Russia. Like, if Russia is the greatest enemy, you can have this opinion, but Ukraine now is definitely not more democratic. Just look at that. Another relatively recent news regarding this Ukraine-Russia conflict is that Zelensky finally revealed his victory plan. And, well, check yourself, there's a short video cut from his performance in front of Rada.
Перший пункт – це запрошення в НАТО. Зараз. Другий пункт – оборона. Це незворотнє зміцнення української оборони проти агресора. Це реалістично захищати наші позиції на полі бою в Україні і водночас обов'язково повертати війну на територію Росії.
So basically, his victory plan, the main point or the central point of this victory plan is for Ukraine to be invited and to join NATO ASAP, like right now. And well, some other things which also include Western military powers, basically providing more and more and more military aid to Ukraine, and preferably just joining the war directly. That's the victory plan. What kind of problems do we have with this plan? Basically, any kind of viable, realistic plan, if you make it for your personal use, or if you make it a plan for your country, for war development, it should include variables that you can control. That's how you're making a plan. You don't make plans which include things that you don't control, which includes people or countries for whose decisions you are not responsible and you are not in control of their minds. If victory plan implies that there must be decisions made by other political leaders or leaders of other countries which you cannot directly control, it's not your plan, it's just your hope, it's just your wish, but it's not a plan. Having someone else winning the war for you is not a victory plan. It's just something you would love to see, it's something you would be comfortable with, but it's not your victory plan. So yeah, nothing new. Basically, his plan remains his wish, his desire, or maybe you even can call this plan a demand already, because his voice becoming louder and louder, while the hope for the actual military infiltration of the West into direct conflict with Russia is just disappearing. After USA denied his request to allow military strikes deep inside Russia, but not even like it's not exactly correct to say that they didn't allow military strikes for Ukraine to accomplish inside Russia, because these military strikes, from what I understand, listening to the military experts, military strikes with long-range missiles from Ukraine territory deep inside Russia can be only accomplished by Western military specialists. So it's not like Ukrainian soldiers can use this expensive complex with rocket launchers and just put some buttons and launch them into Moscow or whatever. These rockets like Storm Shadows or ATACMS, I'm not sure what else, they should be programmed and launched directly by USA personnel or UK personnel or another European personnel. So it's not, the request of Zelensky is not exactly to allow his army to use it, it's request for the Western army to start participating actively in this. So that's obviously, or luckily more than obviously, because nowadays nothing is that obvious, luckily he was denied, which for now prevented us from going into a crazy escalation ladder and who knows, maybe even a nuclear war. But he kept pushing with his narrative that Ukraine is gonna win, we have a victory plan, it's like for sure, it's guaranteed, it's solid, it's even some of his personnel told that it's a mathematically calculated plan. But yeah, you see the calculation is like the West, you fight for us and it's calculated, like we're gonna win. So my theory that is ironically starting the big war between Russia and USA and the West might be the only chance for Zelensky to have his life saved, to personally survive. Because if things will go like they are going right now, if this trend will keep on the battlefield, which is obviously that Ukraine is losing the war, slowly, or now not even that slowly, but steadily, it's becoming to crumble in various areas on the front line. The Kursk operation seems to be a failure. If this will continue, which it will if USA will not intervene directly, the future of Zelensky is not something you would be envious of. In this case, he might have his life at risk either by his own people, his own ultra-nationalists in Ukraine, who might want to just eliminate him because he couldn't win the war, by someone from a Russian side, because definitely he has a lot of enemies in Russia, or even, who knows, that's just a speculation, I know nothing about that, but maybe CIA workers or something, they might not be very happy with Zelensky, and just in case it might be more convenient to them that Zelensky never speaks about some details of his interaction with American special services and American politicians. He might know too much and might be not a very comfortable figure to be just free somewhere and starting to talk some stuff in case that if the Ukraine loses, and who knows, that's just a speculation and conspiracy fantasies of mine. And so, yeah, why I was saying all this, because maybe the starting of a big war and even a nuclear war, all of this horrible mess, might be a convenient way for Zelensky to escape, and like no one will even remember about him in this case because the world will be on fire and he might, I don't know, with some luck survive on some nice island far away from all of this crazy stuff that's going on in the world. I don't know. Just maybe you know better, tell me your theories. Anthony Blinken also has recently commented on the war, and check what he said.
The strategy that we've put in place, massive support for Ukraine, massive pressure against Russia, solidarity with more than 30 countries engaged in these efforts, is having real results. And we're seeing that when it comes to Russia's war aims, Russia is failing, Ukraine is succeeding.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Blinken, but solidarity and pressure did not yield the result that you're talking about. Ukraine is not winning and Russia is not failing. It's like, what kind of delusional person you must be to say that? Although, well, maybe not a delusional person, just being politicians being politicians, right? I don't think that Blinken himself is that stupid, although I guess he might have some illusions and false hopes about where this conflict will finally go, but not up to the point to call white black and black white. Meanwhile, right now, the Russian army is advancing on all of the front line practically, and Ukraine really experiencing super hard times and a lot of difficulties with manpower, with morale, with lack of equipment, of weapons. And he's saying, with just looking so nicely and professional, well, I mean, yeah, great results going on, like Ukraine is winning and Russia is just failing, amazing, like, go guys! Seriously? I can't help but feel that he thinks that the audience who will watch him is quite stupid. Or he just hopes that a lot of his audience is more like ignorant, which is, well, it's hope probably based on kind of reality, considering that all of the mainstream Western media is promoting, what they're doing is just promoting this narrative, just talks and talks. And really not commenting on the reality on the battlegrounds, or commenting very scarcely. So yeah, it's easy probably to be ignorant about this conflict if you are from the Western world. And things look quite sad. Why they are sad, you might ask me? Well, because this kind of narrative, like everything is going good, Ukraine stands, Ukraine is winning, like we will keep on supporting it, it prolongates the war into the, well, probably not the infinite time, because the amount of manpower is finite. It prolongs it up to the point that Ukraine, if you don't care about Russian side, which I can understand that, but if you care about Ukrainians, so you should not want this shit to go on, because they already lost I don't know how many thousands of men It's hard to really dig the real numbers, no one is saying that, but it's definitely more than 50,000 the officials from Ukraine are saying. It's just not realistic. It's probably already like, I don't know, 200,000-300,000 dead, and the total casualties being more than 600,000 for Ukrainian side, and for Russian side it's also like huge, I know, but here Blinken is supposed to care about the Ukrainian people. But it doesn't look like that. If you keep on pushing this narrative, this war will go on until there is almost literally no available young men left in Ukraine to fight for freedom and democracy. You saw the kind of democracy in Ukraine. So I really think people like Blinken, by facts, it looks like they hate in Ukraine. Of course, I mean, it's more like they don't care about Ukraine. That would be much more realistic. But, man, this stuff is evil. And if we move to the conflict in the Middle East, there have been some interesting comments from the ex-Israeli Prime Minister. Check that.
I also want to point out something really important. The United States of America is at risk from the Islamic Republic of Iran. American citizens are at risk. Iran has been trying to murder Americans on America's soil for the past several years. And Iran that will have a nuclear weapon will be a threat to the United States of America with ballistic missiles. So this is not a war for Israel. This is a war for the free world. Israel is at the forefront. We are willing to do the job. We do need America to provide us a back.
Yeah, another one. It's like, I think soon there will be a line, a queue to the US for their help. First is Zelensky, then is the Israel, or, well, Zelensky indeed not the first in this line for sure. And you see the narrative he is trying to promote is this war in the Middle East, it's not for us, it's not for Israel, it's for you. We're doing it for you. You say you didn't know, it's in your interest, which is, from my point of view, is a total BS, like absolute bullshit, guys. The guy just wants to eliminate these annoying problems for Israel, which are their neighbors, and wants to use the USA military capacity for these purposes, for their own Israeli purposes. At least how he sees that their interests are like that, but it's also debatable how really good would be for Israel to try to establish this kind of total dominance and totalitarianism. Well, I mean, I know they call themselves a democracy and that they fight for freedom, but when you see that fighting for freedom, including like a lot of kids being shot in the chest and in the head by the IDF soldiers, which this kind of reports, they are proven by the Western media even. A lot of Western doctors who volunteered in Gaza, they see that that's for sure guaranteed intentional shots. So if fighting for freedom includes all of that, like, are you sure that this is in the USA interest? Like, come on, man. But it's interesting how they try to use kind of the same psychological trick like Zelensky tried to use. This fight is for freedom, world. It's for you, that's not for me. I'm like absolute, I have no egoistic interest here. It's just for you. The same Zelensky, sometimes he told, I think, that we are fighting for all of the freedom, all of the free world, for the European values, so we are ready to be in the front line, we fight for you, but we need your help. We need your probably military participation for that, because it's all for you, it's not for us. Well, indeed, it's not for anyone. It's not for you and it's not for them. It's for destruction and for very dangerous ideas. In the case of Israel, this idea of Greater Israel, I think that's what they are fighting for, which, well, I mean, this war is obviously surpassed the level of just defending themselves. In the case of Ukraine, it is just the war which is not realistic or sustainable for the country. Of course, you can ignore the reality and keep banging your head against the wall, and you can ignore the power balance and the fundamentals of the war, how much manpower Russia has, how much manpower Ukraine has, the weapons, artillery shells, and all of this stuff. You can keep on fighting, thinking that you're doing something noble, in the best case, and in the worst case, basically killing your own men for the interests of Western corporations. The reality will catch you. There is no running away from it. You still will find yourself in a losing position, having this catastrophe and disaster with so many human lives being lost. So a rational person would try to find the best solution through negotiations and negotiate whatever you can in this situation, making some political sacrifices, yes, and I'm not saying that it's nice and amazing for your national proudness, but what is better, to lose all of the entire younger generation of Ukrainian men, or to lose a little bit of pride and maybe some territories, your freedom, political freedom to choose to be in NATO? It's also a quite debatable question about being independent and having political freedom, because right now Ukraine, only a very, very delusional person can call that Ukraine is politically independent. It's absolutely dependent 100% on the West, is politically subordinated to United States 100%. So this freedom is also a big joke. Anyway, this been my rant or commentary or whatever you can call it. It's not a typical video for me to do, and I'm not sure that I will keep on with this, but you just let me know if anyone watches this. And yeah, take care, guys.